Hello and welcome back to Matt Hayes' Tottenham blog and to another episode of Transfer Talk. Today I'm going to be talking about significant updates in the futures of Toby Alderweireld and Victor Wanyama. So before I get started, if you want more content like this, plus match previews, reviews and interactive live streams, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button just below the video and click the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload. So to begin, there's news coming out from a number of sources that Toby Alderweireld is now willing to sign a new contract at Tottenham. This has come from, as I said, a number of sources, but the one I'm going to focus on is Football Insider 24/7. Now, as I said yesterday in the Dybala video, they were very reliable over the transfer window and broke a lot of news before it got to the main channels, I suppose, and a lot of that did turn out to be right. So I'm very interested in the articles that they have. And this one says that Tottenham are edging closer to tying Toby Alderweireld to a new contract after indications he is keen to commit his long-term future to the club. So this is quite a significant turnaround from what we were expecting in the transfer window. Of course, for quite a while there was a £25 million release clause in his contract that we were expecting would be activated before it expired, I think on the 26th of July. Now, the only team that were really keen to sign him over the window was actually Roma, but that quickly fell apart because Tottenham wanted Nicolo Zaniolo to be involved in any deal, but Roma weren't willing to let him go. But now with Alderweireld, at the moment, only 1 year left in his contract, it does look that he was in a position where he did want to leave the club, but now he is willing to commit his future to the club, which is it's great news, obviously, but it's coming as quite as a surprise, and there is confidence within the club that he will sign this contract. Now, again, they're saying that Spurs were about to offer a contract worth £120,000, but it seems as though it'll actually be a bit lower than that because All Things Spurs, a Twitter account who, again, was really, really accurate over the transfer window. And the main one with All Things Spurs, they did call that Lo Celso loan with an obligation to buy before anyone else, which of course turned out to be true. They've said that a contract offer hasn't yet been made to Toby Alderweireld, but he is certainly willing to sign one when it is made, and it won't need to be up the bumper £120,000 a week. He would accept something lower than that, which I think for a player of his quality is quite strange, because when you look at the other top centre-backs around the world, they're on a lot more money than that. And not even just centre-backs, whatever position you play, the top players are on a lot more money than that. And I think it's great news that he's willing to accept less than that, because it will show not only he's not just signing a contract to tie him over for another year and then he can be sold. It is actually something that he does want to stay at the club. It's not about money for him. He's at a club now that he actually really does love. Now, it goes on to say he was available for that release clause but didn't generate enough interest, and contract talks broke down at the start of the year, so back in January, which did lead to Alderweireld being left out of the squad for quite a bit, which again comes back to those comments from Pochettino that he doesn't allow contract disputes and behind the scenes things get in the way of his team selection, but factually it just does, and I don't know why he's saying that it doesn't. And again, it goes on to say Alderweireld did look set to run down his deal to leave on a free, but it doesn't look like that is going to happen. Now, I was expecting that to be the case. My only kind of reasoning for why teams weren't going in for him in the transfer window was maybe that they realised he didn't want to leave the club, or if he'd made it known that he didn't want to leave this summer, and I thought it would be a free move to Ajax next summer, which still is possible if this contract isn't signed. But I think it's obviously great news that he is now looking to sign this contract, and if a player like him is willing to stay at the club, that could maybe change the mind of the likes of Vertonghen and Eriksen, because we are now bringing in these big players like Lo Celso and Dembele and potentially Dybala in January. I put out a video on that yesterday, so if you haven't checked it out, we're actually back in talks with Paulo Dybala. I'll link that video up in the corner there so you can go and watch that one. But Alderweireld, of course, has started our 3 games in the Premier League this season, and I think that could be maybe a sign that there is something good going on there, because with Vertonghen and Eriksen, we're hearing there are contract disputes in both of those situations, and they'll be left out of the squad. So you'd wonder, if they are similar situations, why would Alderweireld be playing when the two of them aren't? So maybe that is a suggestion that there is truth to this, and that he will be signing a new contract pretty soon. Now, the other news is that this is something we were expecting. Tottenham have accepted a bid from Club Brugge to sell Victor Wanyama, and this is again coming from Football Insider 24/7. They said that a deal is worth £9 million, rising to £12 million in add-ons. And look, this was only a matter of time. I mean, Wanyama his last couple of seasons have been riddled with injury, and when he was in our first team, when he first joined us with Moussa Dembele, it was one of the most powerful midfields in the Premier League, and one that would strike fear into any team. And I remember when we beat Chelsea at White Hart Lane that year, they won the league. N'Golo Kante, who was one of the best midfielders in the world at the time, even said that was the best midfield he'd ever played against. And it's just a bit disappointing that Wanyama's career has kind of gone this way. And it's no surprise that he is going to a Belgian league side and he's not staying in the Premier League or going to another one of the European top 5 leagues, because with his injuries he just wouldn't cope in an environment like that. But look, even if it is Club Brugge, he's going to have Champions League football this year, and with the draw later today, I would love to see us get Club Brugge. So Wanyama can get his appearance at the new stadium, even though it will be in a blue jersey. It's probably the best move for all people, because he's not someone that will ever get into our first team again because of that fitness and those injuries. And for him, he's still going to a pretty good level of football, but it's not, as I said, the most demanding thing ever. And this article says the Kenyan international is torn over moving to Belgium and is waiting to see if other interest materialises in an offer from a side in one of Europe's major leagues. So it does look like he's actually trying to hold out for a move to one of the major leagues. He's accepted his time at Tottenham is drawing to a close, and Mauricio Pochettino made it clear at his press conference yesterday that the player's standards have dropped compared to his first season at the club. And this comes after Wanyama instructed his agent to find him a new club before the end of the European window. It's upsetting to see him go, but he's been ravaged by knee problems, and with the likes of Sissoko, Ndombele, Winks, maybe even Dyer ahead of him in the pecking order, unfortunately it does look like there is just no place for him at the club anymore, and he will be moving on before the deadline next Monday. So that's all I have time for this video today. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to give a thumbs up down below, and as I said, if you want more content like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching.